Most of us have two lives, the life we live and the unlived life within us. Between the two stands resistance. This is the beginning of one of my favorite books of all time. It is a book about productivity and even more so about what actually keeps us from putting out what we know we are destined to produce. And of course, masses of books have been written on this particular subject, but I believe this one book stands out. I firmly believe that this is the only book that you will ever need to read in order to become more productive and overcome procrastination forever. The book that I'm talking about is The War of Art by Steven Pressfield. Steven Pressfield is an accomplished writer, mostly of novels, so he definitely knows a thing or two about procrastination and productivity. And in The War of Art, he first defines the enemy of anyone who wants to get something done, and then tells us how we can defeat that enemy. He calls that enemy resistance. And what I love so much about this concept of resistance is that it is simple, but it completely explains every situation where we have failed to be productive. We all have experience with facing resistance. It could be when you come home from work and you know you should be going to the gym. It could be this annoying phone call that you keep postponing, or it could be a project that you know you should be working on. Whatever it may be, what keeps you from just doing it is resistance. And Steven Pressfield actually spends the first third of the entire book just breaking down in which shape or form resistance can occur. He writes, what does resistance feel like? First, unhappiness. We feel like hell. A low-grade misery pervades everything. We're bored, we're restless. We can't get no satisfaction. There's guilt, but we can't put our finger on the source. We want to go back to bed. We want to get up and party. We feel unloved and unlovable. We're disgusted. We hate our lives. We hate ourselves. Resistance, he goes on describing, is a master at distracting us from what is actually important. We find a million different things that we should be doing instead of the one thing that should get all of our attention right now. We're watching TV, we start vacuuming, we cook ourselves a meal, we meet with friends, we have a coffee, we feel like we need to get groceries. All of these things are things that resistance puts in our head. It convinces us that those things are more important than just sitting down and doing the work. And I'm sure that if you are like me and you have ever faced resistance in your life, you can completely relate to that. Okay, so now that we know what the enemy looks like, now that we know that resistance is the dragon that we need to slay, how do we do that? Steven Pressfield gives the answer in the book. The secret, he says, is turning pro. Now what the hell does that mean? Well, it means that you should be treating your work like a professional. And the good news is that we all are already professionals at least one thing in our lives, and that is our jobs. Here is what makes us professionals. We show up every day. We show up no matter what. We stay on the job all day. We are committed over the long haul. The stakes for us are high and real. We accept remuneration for our labor. We do not over-identify with our jobs. We master the technique of our jobs. We have a sense of humor about our jobs. We receive praise or blame in the real world. If you are a professional at something, you don't do it for fun. You do it because your livelihood depends on it. If you are not acting like a professional at your job, if you don't show up every day, if you are not committed over the long haul, if you are leaving after a couple of hours at work, if you are not taking things seriously and producing results, then you will simply be fired. And that will have very real consequences for you and your life. So essentially what Steven Pressfield is saying here is that if you want to beat resistance, you need to show resistance that you are serious about this. The writer Somerset Maugham once said that he only writes when inspiration strikes. Fortunately, inspiration strikes every day at 9 AM sharp. That right there is the mindset of a professional. And of course, this kind of professional mindset can be applied to literally any task out there. Productivity and creativity are not things that you sit and wait for. Instead, those are things that you summon yourself. And the only way to accomplish that is by turning pro. And make no mistake about it, resistance is always gonna be there. It's never gonna go away. but you can learn how to overcome it in a structured manner. You can develop your own system how to power through. For me personally, this book has been a huge revelation. It literally changed my life. After I read it, whenever I felt like I don't want to do something, I knew what it was that I actually experienced. I was simply facing resistance. And just knowing what I was dealing with already helped me to overcome it. I then usually proceed by asking myself the simple question, what would I do if I got paid for doing this? So let's say it is late at night, I just ate, I'm tired after a long day of work, and I know I still have to go to the gym. What would I do if I was a professional athlete that actually got paid for those 2 hours working out? Well, I would probably bitch, moan and complain, but I would put on my shoes, put on my outfit and walk my 50 meters to the gym, start lifting weights, and afterwards feel like I did what I was supposed to do. That is the mindset of a professional doing his job, and that is the mindset that you can apply to anything. So step number 1, identify resistance when you face it, and step number 2, battle that resistance with the mindset of a pro. So stop looking for this magic, mystical method that will help you overcome your procrastination tendencies and increase your productivity tenfold. Instead, apply this very simple 2-step process, and that is all you need. I truly hope that this video will help you on your path. And if it did, feel free to subscribe down below for more videos just like this one. I will see you in the next video.